This is my documentary of a local arcade in Anti-City. This place is called Lamar's Arcade. Lamar's Arcade and Restaurant, which is a arcade and a family restaurant, which opened in 1961 in downtown Anti-City. Actually, no, on the north side of Anti-City. It was a popular place for children to have fun and parents to eat the food and stuff. And the place was super big inside. The place was super deep. There was like thousands and thousands and thousands of arcade machines everywhere until the darkest day came years later in 1986. In 1986, and on the night of June 5th, 1986, an unknown guy dressed as a bum burst into the arcade place with many knives, handguns, and a machine gun, and a pump action shotgun and a sawed-off shotgun. He bursted into the arcade place and started shooting at parents and families and children. Over 250 people were killed, including a young mother and a 17-year-old daughter and a 10-month-old baby. And he kept shooting all inside the arcade place. He shot up the place. A couple of people ran into the restrooms in the back of the place, which is a 23-year-old mother and her 1-month-old baby and 2 daughters. They were huddled up in the bathroom hiding, but they weren't lucky. Only 87 people escaped through the back doors at the back of the place and managed to survive. But the young mother huddled in the bathroom with her 1-month-old baby was not so lucky. The shooter heard noises coming from the back of the place where the restrooms are, and he bursted into the women's room and shot the young mother and her 2 daughters before shooting her 10-month-old infant. The infant later died at the scene, and the mom later died at a nearby hospital. So over 250 people were killed in this massacre. To this day, and the shooter got away with money and cash before burning part of the arcade, part of it down. All the bodies were burned to pieces. The next day, there was an investigation after yesterday of the horrible events that happened. The officers were trying to solve this case, but it has been revealed that happened that horrible day after that man created that massacre after killing a lot of people. He later got away before the police could even get there, but hours after he escaped and the police arrived, the building was already on fire. The fire department came and take the fire out. Officers went inside the building with gas masks, including 2 FBI agents. And they went inside there. They found dead bodies all over the place, and they also smelled a strange smell in the bathrooms towards the back of the place. And they went back there, and they found a dead mother and her 2 daughters and a 1-month-old baby. They were all killed, execution style. But their bodies were already decomposed after parts of the building was burnt. So, a year later in 1988, the police never found the man who shot up the arcade place. So yeah. So they classed the crime as an unsolved, since they don't have any links to an arrest and they don't know who did it. So years later, 8 years later, in 1999, the building was demolished, which the new anti-city police station now sits where the old arcade used to be when it was torn down. To this day, that horrible day is now known as the Arcade Massacre of 1986.